be kind of interesting to first talk about, what's happened 1 year later, just kind of where you guys were at last year. What's changed in your companies, your licenses, your properties, and that sort of thing. And if there's something significant in your personal life.
Wow, that's a softball. A couple amazing things have happened for me personally. First of all, Hasbro bought Marvel Legends back.
Yeah.
Officially announced it, and they have a product here at the show, which is amazing. Dwight did a great job on it. All the whole Hasbro team did an amazing job on it. They really got behind it, and it's exciting to see it come back. And the other cool thing is that I write, produce, and do a lot of voices for this show called What The on Marvel.com, which is What The is an old comic book, but we turned it into this like 3-minute old school like Warner Brothers animation. And it became very whimsical. We started to get these partnerships where 7-Eleven, Toyota, Harley Davidson were approaching us. We're making episodes for those guys, so it was like that's grown so much that Marvel wants us to do more of that type of thing. So we're going to look to expand that type of thing. And I got a name.
Let's see, last year at this time we had sort of had the second of many conversations with BBC regarding Doctor Who as a license. And now a year later we have products. Unfortunately, there was a glitch in the matrix sort of, and we couldn't have somebody here at the show. But that's really how long the process took from last year. We have other items, obviously, but those licenses sort of existed at this stage last year. Personally, some of you might know I work television production and still do all that stuff, and voiceover work and things like that. I also got changed. Hey!
And you guys also have started into the 3 program. That's new this year.
Yes, it's true. Yeah, this is the big surprise this year for Venture Brothers.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we're really happy with it. We kept it secret. We sort of showed a very select few people at Toy Fair in New York what we were doing, and everybody surprisingly kept their mouth shut about it. And so we brought it this year, and it's by no means absolutely certain yet. We have to see what the support is, but it's amazing how much response there's been from those first pictures going out at the convention that it's making its way around. It's been really cool. So fingers crossed, that's all going to happen.
Let's see. So, Scott at the hotel. Well, I spent the last 2 years of my life working on the Green Lantern toy line, and it was an amazing experience to see that go from a script and concept to the finished film. Everyone see Green Lantern?
Woo! Yeah!
So it was an amazing experience. It's my first time working on a major movie line. Previous to this, I worked on the DC Universe line. While it's still big, it didn't have a movie attached. And there were a lot of really great experiences. I got to go to New Orleans and see them shoot the movie on the set. All the way up to the Hollywood premiere. I got to meet Ryan Reynolds and all sorts of cool stuff like that. And it's like, wow.
Have you seen him training in person?
He's pretty lazy. He's really like, I love the toys. Like I told him when I met him at the premiere, he was just like, the toy looks like you made a toy. So he was so excited about that. Other than that, we have Masters of the Universe, the 30th anniversary next year. We spent the last year prepping for that. I got to write a mini comic, actually 3 mini comics.
You kind of glossed over that in your panel, but that's really cool.
Yeah.
You write the mini comics that are coming out.
Yeah, that was
4 Masters.
4 Masters. That's awesome. Yeah, we're going to have 3 new mini comics that are going to tell the long, unfinished, the final mini comic from the 1986 line was labeled part 1 of 3, and that was the only one that shipped. So as part of the 30th anniversary, we actually uncovered the original outline And that became the backbone to the 3 issues that are coming out. So we're finally going to pay off, after 25 years, that story.
God, thank God, I've been waiting.
I know. I've heard.
Every piece of this toy, I'm like, when are they finish the story?
Which for those of you who know Scott, that's really cool. I mean, Scott's been a lifelong Masters of the Universe fan. You know, he's like almost a historian of that. So to have that opportunity.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, it's the first time I've had my name on a comic.
Yeah.
That's because, well, Tim Seeley wrote the script, and I wrote the script. So
I think that's awesome.
it was huge, so I got to sign it. Other than that, our baby girl is 15 months old, walking and talking, and that's been the most amazing experience. I didn't get engaged because I've been married for 5 years.
That's right.
you can still get it. Pretty sure that's how it works, right?
Just keep getting engaged over and over again until.
Sure.
All right.
Get away.
Well, I think I got it. But it's been a great year, and I can't wait for 2012.
Mine's a little shorter since this is my first Comic-Con. My movie actually came out 30 years ago, and nobody ever filled the void for collectibles. So I guess I spent the year fulfilling all the orders for our sold-out NTT shark and producing this nose-to-gills shark, and another shark that we'll bring out shortly, about 1.5 foot long. If you are a Jaws fan, you know that the sharks are open on one side. You can see all the mechanics. We're going to model that and get that released on our site. So we're fulfilling, I guess, or filling a void that's existed for 30 years for a very, very large fan base. It's a huge franchise. So that's what we spend our year doing. I have 4 children and their teens, and my wife and 4 children and I have our entire basement dedicated to making the sharks and delivering the orders.
And you're hand making all of these kids.
Yes, it's all rotocast and pressure cast and assembled. Everybody has their job. We're just trying to make the American dream actually work in today's economy.
That's all resin?
Yes, this is
Oh, wow.
rotocast here. This is just a prototype. It's missing the mechanics that you would see in the throat.
And you got the kids working on
The kids. Slave labor.
They're polishing the teeth.
As long as they don't complain, they don't get too much.
They're gonna hate that movie.
So, and the theory, as I understand it, like that's the bust, but you're thinking of completing that and making the whole
I've made the full shark.
shark that attaches to it.
Our NTT is called, it's nose to tail. It's 37 inches long. And we only had 75 for the entire edition, and they sold out the first month, basically. And we're fulfilling the orders as people finish paying off their bill.
We're gonna need a bigger table.
So, yeah, well,
Nailed it.
it's been a nice year working with Joe Alves, who actually made a shark for Jaws. He backs this thing. It's a perfect example of a very imperfect movie prop. So that's what we're doing. We're just starting out. We're small potatoes.
That is cool.
So, I guess on a personal level, my wife we had our 4th baby, little baby Miles, so he's been around 6 months now. If any of you guys need a baby, give me a call. I can't miss. Other than that, working a little movie called Thor, by the way, Chris Hemsworth, and I look. He's a sexy man. He's sexy as a lion, I'm sorry. But
Now you're going to people next.
according to my man. And it was a dream come true for to be made to a movie, and that was he was my #1 guy, and working on that was a big privilege. So and we're doing Marvel Universe, getting bigger and stronger, and having fun doing it.
This year we worked on Thor, Captain America, X-Men, a bunch of big movies, but I think the thing I enjoyed the most was working on our own properties. This year we saw the launch of several of our own invented toys, which is something we used to happen back in the old days, but now most toys are license related. So creating Minimix Max, Really spent Toys R Us on the first wave, shipping a second wave now, as well as working with Gene and Design Arts on the Femme Fatale statue line, which more than half of those are just from our own creation, our own ideas working together. So I think that's the stuff I'm most proud of, but it's always fun to work on the movies. But seeing something that you created all the way and seeing kids playing with it, that's not movie related or license related, and then just picking up because it's cool toy to play with, feels very much like when I was buying toys when I was a kid. So it might not be a big seller, but that's what I'm most proud of.
And also, you got the Pirates.
Yeah,
that was going too.
That's shipping like now. Some of those just have them already. And we launched maybe this morning, DMH.com finally. So that's kind of cool after 2 years working on that, getting that up there. So a lot of stuff on there for kids, downloads and color pages and games and movies and a lot of stuff for the younger collectors to get into it. So that's all been kind of fun.
Sweet mini pirate ship coming and a glow in the dark version. So
Nice.
I love that.
Basically, my year has been sort of split between brand new, fresher comic incarnations of characters and a number of retro properties that sort of came at me from nowhere and surprised me. I've been, for probably the last couple of years, I've been working on the Heroes of the DC Universe bus for DC, and I've probably done, I don't know, 20, 30 busts. And that's been really fun, but then there's been some oddball things that came, like Chuck brought me to the Munsters license. So I did that whole line of figures, and we were able to, Chuck generally gives me quite a bit of latitude to create the line into something that he and I agree on, but I also am able to bring into it certain types of articulation. We agreed that they needed to have really good accessories, so I did quite a bit of fabrication on the clock, the electric chair, and in addition to that property, like you were saying, the Femme Fatales line, I got to do some kind of iconic imagery over cheesecake type female statues. And then for Mezco, I just started doing 14-inch scale rotocast Thundercats, which is it's a cartoon I used to watch with my brother when we were younger, and it was kind of a blast to work on that because the majority of the things I do nowadays tend to be in a 7-inch scale or in a mini bus scale and super detailed, and these were super smooth and large and very toy-like. And like I said, just an odd property. It was 10 years ago, everyone wanted the license, no one had it. Now all of a sudden, everyone has the license. And the fun thing with what Mez wanted to do is he really wanted it to look like the cartoon, and it's really the first thing that's come out that actually looks like a retro cartoon. So hopefully there'll be more of that. So far, the convention exclusives all sold out on the line now, and there's been really good response on the Boomerang that we showed. So hopefully there'll be more of that stuff. And that's pretty much my year in a nutshell.
And also, I guess it's kind of strange because for me, I also got engaged too. So it's like this side of the panel has just recently been engaged. And these guys, it's just that's just how the nameplates have put out. It's really interesting.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you. So, one thing I've always kind of been curious about, and this is different than like when we were collecting toys. You guys have sort of become public figures now, and in the age of social media and stuff, you guys get called out a lot. What is that? How do you guys deal with that? Do you ever take it personal? Just how does that sort of change your perception of the industry and stuff?
Who wants to start this?
Well, I think we all understand that the fans are very passionate about what this whole industry and culture and they put their money into it. So on one hand, you really have to, you understand their frustrations, you understand that they're really dedicated fans. And sometimes, like when we were kids, you didn't know who were making the toys. You didn't know the sculptors, you didn't know the designers, you didn't know anybody. So now, in this day and age, getting to meet like these guys, and you have tons of questions that these guys, that you want to ask us, and I understand, and everyone loves me. I'm a good foot. So, really don't take it personal. I understand their frustrations.
You say it is what it is, but you know, when we worked together at Toy Biz, Dave and I worked together at Toy Biz, I used to go to RTM all the time and Flush, and you know, I saw a post, we were about to go to lunch, and I saw this post, it was like, "Hey, just sit down, it's a motherfucker." And I'm reading this thing, and I'm just like, no, this isn't constructive, this is fucking, this is an ass. So I started to get agitated, and Dave goes, "It was me."
Oh, good.
Really got ticked off.
I was very pissed off. I was very agitated. I was pissed off. What the hell? So I was saying, at that point, I realized, I'm like, okay, you can't get serious about this stuff, because honestly, the people that they make comments, they're doing it because it comes from a place of passion. You know, they're very into a character. And what I learned very early with the Marvel property, and a lot of properties like DC or really anything, DC is a good example too, because people get attached to these characters when to the versions of these characters. I think typically it's the version that they find that they first are attracted to. Like the first time I read Wolverine, he was wearing his tiger stripe sheet when John Byrne illustrated him, and I was like, oh, that's the penultimate right there. And I think some people are like, I've had conversations where people have come through our showroom at Toy Biz, and we did a sculpt of Spider-Man. It was like a really skinny, ultimate-looking Spider-Man. It was a new sculpt, and this guy was just, that's not the way he was. He's an old guy. You know, and he's like, he just doesn't look like that. Get wrong. What's wrong? Okay. You know, I'm save the guy. You know, I just think, you know, people get really passionate, so I can't really, I can't ever take those things bad, because it's, you know, those people will be there for you. Those people are the ones who are, you know, buying products.
I think what happens is, I mean, I've been lying because I didn't take something personally. If any of you had, you know, a business or, you know, whatever it is, people are going to get critical. You're going to eventually get your nose dented a little bit. But I think what we start to do is find the humor in that. I think it's a deeper problem. I mean, I wouldn't say problem. That's the wrong word. It's like we're sort of living in this age where the internet's the great equalizer. Anybody can get on there and talk about anything or complain about anything.
Look out! Oh my God.
That's a big rat.
Was that a disruptive fan? Am I right? But I think it's a friend of mine who remained nameless sort of has the attitude that if it's not 100%, not perfect, he'd rather not have it.
Oh.
We were talking about this during when Thor came out. So I said, I'm sitting in the theater about to see Thor, watching a trailer for Captain America, followed by a trailer for X-Men. Like, this is a world I never thought we were going to see or live in. And it's like we have a wealth of things to kind of choose from. And so it's like this attitude of everybody wants it now, and they want it perfect. They complain when it does get here. So you have to find a humor. So the other day I'm getting interviewed about the Venture Brothers lunchbox by someone who does a blog about Venture Brothers. Again, passion. We did this lunchbox, which the idea was to give a little something extra. To have packaging as the box and 2 figures inside. And after a series of questions, they were like, "Now, you know, a year ago you did this." And I wasn't too happy. The fans were like, "Why would you do that?" And I was very cordial about it. And then it hit a wall with this one. He said, "Now you did the lunchbox and you put the things." And the question is, a lot of fans are wondering, why no thermos?
Oh my God.
And so I had the lunchbox with me, so I hit him in the side of the head. Well, I guess the best way to answer that would be to ask the fan, would you rather have one less figure and a thermos, or would you rather have 2 action figures inside a lunchbox? Not like you're ever going to use the thermos anyway. But that to me is a perfect example. It's like no matter how hard you try, no matter what you do, that's going to sometimes be the attitude. So I try to find the humor in it. I don't always, but that is a pretty funny story. That's kind of how I try to do.
You should have called me, because the second figure was a small figure, so you could put him inside the thermos. No problem.
What we were going to do is make 3,000 sandwiches and put them inside. But I mean, after a while, we realized like a month or two is going to go by.
Yeah.
I have a perspective on it that's slightly different than some of these guys, because for me it sometimes does get very personal, because I had I get attacked and my work gets attacked directly. You know, it's only recently that they start going after the big boys, you know, that actually run the companies. So like when I first got into this industry, where my name started getting out there, is, you know, a piece would come out, and I'd find out from Chuck, or when I was working for Todd or whoever, and you go on the message boards, like, oh, let's see what people say. And then, you know, there'd be a good one, you start getting psyched, and then something just completely slammed. And they call you out, and then there's certain forums that are just, you know.
Oh, you can't go to.
Yeah. I learned from Chuck, there was one forum in particular, we remained nameless, but he was like, yeah, don't run that forum in any case. So I think,
What was the first thing I did for it? Daredevil?
Well, the first one they crushed that was bad was the Tomb of Dracula.
It was funny. I did this Tomb of Dracula for Milestones, and I had talked to Gene Colan at a convention and stuff after I'd done it. I sent him a sample of the statue and got his autograph. He was very gracious and cool. And I go to the forum, and like it's just, yeah, it looks nothing like the Tomb of Dracula, and then it's like all piled on the rabbit. You know, no, it's totally the wrong face, blah blah blah. And yet the dude who drew it, like, dug it. So, you know, and every time something came out, that carnage is awful. It's totally pattern on the chest. It's totally blah, blah, blah. And it was like, so finally, it's like, no, I should have taken Chuck's advice and just don't bother with that board. So, you know, you got to take it with a grain of salt. Now, I think it's funny because it's like, yeah, you can jump on it all you want. You got a crap load of money for 2 months.
Sometimes what you do is answer back.
Yeah, I don't like
Oh, yeah. Don't engage.
Yeah. And then the thing you know, on top of that, though, all the people that are griping about it, every one of them is probably still going to go buy it for the most part. It's just on the message boards, you get kind of this piranha mentality where there's usually an alpha, and then everyone wants to impress the alpha with how much they agree with them. So.
You have to remember, there's only like 25 guys on those boards.
Yeah. With chicks' names.
And
I'm a 12-year-old girl.
And, you know, the truth is a lot of people don't go on those boards to like praise them. I mean, generally people go on a lot of boards and make comments and complain. They don't go on, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. It seems to be sort of an epidemic. There's a website, I might have told you this, called Letters of Note. Anybody know this website?
Yeah.
It's an amazing website. The guy posts letters from, you know, George Washington, whatever, anything throughout history that people either send in or he posts. And they're amazing sort of pieces of, Matt Groening writing to a young fan that saved the letter and then he scans it and puts it in to give up, you know, these really cool pieces of. But a month ago, he shut down the message boards on this site. This is just a site reprinting letters because people got so ugly. I'm thinking, what could they possibly be bitching about on this site that they're giving that kind of feedback? And he shut it down because it got so ugly with the negativity. And I thought, well, there you go. It's kind of everywhere. People tend to go online and complain rather than say how great something is.
And to masturbate.
If you can complain about something, let me left it. You know.
I know.
the other thing about the internet is that, I mean, besides giving everybody a voice,
Right.
is that in this iPhone, microwave, DVD world, everybody expects things instantly, and changes to happen on the fly. And it takes like a minimum of 6 to 12 months to make a change in the toy industry. You want to change, bat by its belt from yellow to green. That could take 12 months between a fan suggesting it and it hitting shelf. And everyone expects changes instantly. You can't affect those changes instantly. You're horrible, and you should be killed and strung up with Demo Man. And so.
Unless you're Mike, who just holds a family meeting and just says,
No groceries this month.
To jump back to the original question, what it's like to bring big celebrities. Here's a weird one. Actually, I just got a text from my father, who's babysitting our 15-month-old. I was interviewed earlier at Comic-Con because I'm working the toy industry. That would have never happened 5 years ago. And my baby daughter saw me on TV and started going, Dad, Dad, Dad. So there's a benefit to being a celebrity, right?
Get online and start complaining.
My brow is not blue enough.
So, one thing you have to do, like when these guys move on the board, you kind of have to kind of out there saying, I mean, there really is passion there, so kind of dissect it and try your best to address their concerns, because normally when these guys meet us in person, they're not like that. You know, they don't want to really punch me in the face. I know that.
Keyboard warriors. Right.
But there's concerns. It's just that they're so angry and they're just letting it out the best way they know how. And I'm sorry.
So what sort of is the best way for fans to get you feedback, and what format do you like to see it in?
Brad.
Write a letter.
Actually, I kind of like when they really go hard and go crazy because it's so funny. I mean, it is.
It is
I mean, it's amazing. I'll sit there and watch some videos where I'm really mad.
I think though,
And he doesn't.
what's funny is that I think the worst, the most violent I've ever gotten was actually on your site.
Really?
Yeah, because I write.
I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, I write it every now and then on the Men of Action site, the section of the site, and you have great things at Christmas time, whatever. Just mostly like memories and things like that. And I made this not mistake, but I made the observation about Michael's review of the week.
Right. Yeah.
Which is a fine site, and it's cool, and it's out there, and I don't want it to go away or anything, but they were reviewing the Tron 8-inch figures. And whether you like the movie or not, I didn't dig into it. I think it's pretty innovative that they have these 8-inch figures that have like 14 points of articulation on the face that lit up, and Jeff Bridges' voice moved and talked.
It's great. It's great stuff.
Yeah, and the review was, it got to the fingernails, and how come the knee wasn't, and
Not Tron.
Whatever it was, and so I wrote this whole article about, aren't you taking this a little too seriously? Like, this is a pretty cool toy. The packaging is blowing you away. Like, sorry, it's pretty cool. Anyway, it wasn't like that, and then man, people came out of the woodwork on that, and it just tore me apart on Action Figure Insight, because I was complaining about Michael's review of the week, and I thought, look, they're taking that seriously, that you're criticizing a site that criticizes toys. You're defending it as well, but that was pretty harsh. I cried for a while.
All of you guys have properties that people know intimately, and sometimes frighteningly so. I mean,
Yeah. I'm surprised they do with those action figures.
I've been collecting toys my whole life, and I have a preposterous amount of them. But I don't go on and say, good God, he's not blue enough, or you forgot the spider on his back, or just that level of. And part of it, I think, is, and I really noticed this at first with DC Direct, the way they sort of set their business up when they started doing figures is that, they did one wave a month, and everyone felt like each wave was going to be the last wave, and they didn't get their favorite guy. So every time a wave was solicited and it didn't have so-and-so, it was just like a monthly eruption of people like, oh, we'll never see this guy, and that sort of thing. And, I think you probably get that a little bit with Masters of the Universe.
We will never make Ram
Oh, come on.
I figure a lot of things like you also have to think you want to make sure you have good guys for year 4.
Yeah.
When you hit 2014, the line was started in 09, you don't want to realize you're only doing, Butthead and Spinnerella.
Yeah.
That's why you're getting the Sorceress next year. Third year.
But it's still kind of interesting too, it's great that there are those people out there. I think about like Chuck's Mini-Mates, their Marvel guys are on wave like 42, and the depth of character they've gone into. There's still guys making lists, like when are we going to see this guy,
Well, and you pointed out that, not to go back to Big Bang Comedy, you pointed out the 3 3/4 inch announcement for Venture Bros.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this is a huge thing, and people are really excited.
Nice plug.
People immediately complained about the lineup. They immediately complained that these were the 4 as if we were supposed to launch with 17 characters right away. It's like, there you go. You forget it. I'm retired.
Wow, this is your Schwartz song.
Yeah. Good night.
Oh.
So let's talk a little bit about movie properties and stuff. I know Jesse, last year, you sort of predicted the big, the glut of movie that we knew would be in the aisle, and you sort of said like 2011, 2012, and you named off like 30 properties that we're going to be fighting for planogram space.
Yeah.
And that doesn't seem to be slowing down at all, you know, with what Marvel's doing, and you know, DC certainly taking notice of that. And, how are those movie properties going, you guys feel like? And do you think the new movies are still viable to pursue, or is it old sort of nostalgic things that are the better driver?
Well, you know, we're that licensing is the key part of our business. You know, Marvel's not going to make a movie that they can't, you know, really turn into a toy line. So that for us, it's funny. I met some guys from Pixar today, and it's Pixar and Marvel are a lot alike in that Disney bought both of them and treats them kind of the same. They don't mess with the business because those companies don't know what they're doing. From the standpoint of generating entertainment or intellectual properties. I know Marvel's, you know, I've seen their dance card for 2018, and it is, you know, they have a dance card, very, very rich dance card for 2018. So everything we've seen, you know, there's bunches of new properties that they'll put out there.
Anything you want to
continue it? No, why would you? Yes, that won't happen. But also, you know, yeah, Dazzle versus Goliath. It's going to get mini series on HBO. Yeah, exactly. But I know, you know, DC's going to be continuing doing that. You know, it's not slowing down at all. I mean, it's absolutely, you know, continuing.
You know, I also think retailers kids play a huge part in that, because while we all love nostalgic lines, I mean, Thundercats and Masters and Doctor Who, you know, kids aren't busting down the doors at Target looking for Doctor Who and Queen Marlena, you know, and Lionel and Mum, for dogs. Marmot, thank you.
Who watched the show?
So, you know, retail kids want the new cool stuff, you know, the Thors and Green Lanterns and Avengers, etc. And and you've got to keep that in eye. You know, and finding avenues for Dexter, you know, or even Masters of the Universe means finding online, or you know, the entertainment of the world. We've got Toy Store, that kind of stuff. You're always going to see the big stuff, because that's what tells the kids. You know, kids don't beg their mom for a toy property.
Right.
One thing we just got involved in, we just announced at this show actually, that's become a bigger thing, is we just partnered up with Lego. And I've been working on that all year, and so we're going to be doing a bunch of product for 2012. That's when our product will come out, and it's really interesting to work with construction partners, because they're now getting into entertainment, and it's funny because their biggest properties are, you know, like Star Wars, Harry Potter, and Pirates. And for both Harry Potter and Pirates, those are huge movie properties that didn't work in toys. You know, they may work in a collector standpoint, but from a mass market toy perspective, they're not a Star Wars, they're not a G.I. Joe, they're not a Transformers, you know, they're not a DC Comics, you know, all the major toy brands. Those things didn't work, but in construction, they're massive. And it's been an interesting thing. And it's funny how that entertainment translates into certain kinds of products, but not typically others.
And then it dovetailed from construction into video games.
Well, the video games, for Lego's business, what happens is, you know, when they have those video games come out, that's when they see these 70% increase in sales, because I don't know if you guys have played some of those Lego video games. They're you know, so you can play with the 3-year-old and have just as much fun. I play with my cousin's kids, and they're great, and it's just like a 7-hour toy portion, you know, and it's fun. You know, you're playing, you're building in the world, and then you want to come out and build the world. And when I went to Balloon, to Denmark to meet with those guys, and I saw I remember one of the spaceships, this is the one I had when I was a kid, and that thing came out in 1976. And all of those parts are usable with stuff you can buy today.
Yep.
So you think about that for a second. It's like all of everything that they're doing, you can give it to your children. You know, it's like it's one of the most amazing toys in the world.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, what Hasbro is doing pre-A.
Exactly.
Yes.
Until they get on the back.
Or you step on it barefoot.
You get mad for a long trash.
So for Mike, you know, all these guys have like sort of social networking people and marketing people and PR people to, you know, to get eyeballs on their stuff. How do you tell people about your sharks? How do you get
Well, we've got our website, sharkcityozark.com, but we're also backed by other sites like operationwork.com. They're passionate about the franchise as well. And it's really mostly word of mouth. Once we started delivering the 37-inch full-body sharks, you can find it in any Google search under a variety of terms. And we can't keep up. We can't keep up with how many people are asking questions and wanting to order things that we don't make anymore, but we're going to start making again. It's amazing. It's word of mouth.
So these guys, like their product typically takes 12 to 18 months from concept to finish. So what?
I typically when somebody pays, we do a monthly payment plan for people, and typically once they get it paid off, I can have it to them within 4 or 5 weeks.
What? Your kids work fast.
Quite Keebler elves.
Yeah.
I say Keebler. But incredible amount of literature work goes into all these, and everybody has a part. I guess it is like a workshop.
Yeah.
Word of mouth. We have not ticked anybody off royally yet, and a lot of people are liking what they're getting, and they're thankfully saying positive things on it.
That's coming. You'll get a few guys.
Oh, that's what a few people who don't like that, like on this shark here, one eye is higher than the other, and one nostril is different than the other, but that's exactly what the jaw shark was.
Yeah.
And they get educated when we send them a picture of the little thing, and they get happy.
I see.
That's the way we like the process to work. Right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It is good to be right.
There's a funny thing complaints about the things that, you were talking, someone was talking about the artist, Gene Coleman, like, the complaints you get where, well, that's wrong. And somebody's, again, back to the miniature lunchbox, like Rusty's standing on the back of the pterodactyl. And it's like, well, if it's any actual package, right, it's sad, and I don't know why you can get things. It's like, we didn't draw it. The guy who drew it did it on the show. And shut up.
We did the same thing with Hal Jordan, movie master figure. People complaining that the green was wrong, but we used the exact PMS colors provided by the digital computer, guys who made the outfit in the computer.
Right.
It was like, it looks exactly the same. Use the digital file.
That's the rub though about making stuff based on movies, because you have to work so far in advance. And they try, what we do is we try to give as much information as we possibly can to the filmmakers, to our development teams, so that they can, educate those guys and make sure they're doing the right thing. What the problem is, last minute changes happen in movies where they'll do stuff at the 11th hour digitally, or they'll process.
Cut out the entire ending.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All kinds of things happen.
But Chuck changed the costumes of first class.
The worst one was Venom in Spider-Man 3. We got a call from one of Jesse's guys and like, Venom now has purple in him.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't. No, that is purple. We think it looks cool, and add it to statues. You mean the statues that are already on the way to stores?
Yeah.
But like Jesse said, digitally they just went in and went, this looks really cool. Here's some purple and Venom. Go. No, we're done. These are on order, Jesse. Running chain. That's
Running chain.
That's a famous line. Damn it, running chain.
That cures all.
We had that, also I remember, was General Zod.
Oh, yeah.
So we actually got the original prop, and we had photos of it, we had swash samples of it, we had everything, and we made it look exactly like the prop. Unfortunately, in the movie, because of the way the set was lit, it made the
and the color correction of the film process.
it made his costume look more black.
Yeah.
But if you have the actual costume in front of you, it's red.
That's weird, because I walked by your booth today and I was like, oh, I thought that. I was like, either they got that wrong or they got that right, and what I saw was wrong.
Yeah.
And that's just the weird.
So we posted an image of the actual color, like people were like complaining like crazy, and then we put an image like, oh.
Yeah, one of the costumes sold like a month after you had come out with the product, like on eBay, and it had Terrence Stamp's hairpiece with it. It was a full thing, and it's clearly.
Terrence Stamp is bald?
No, it was a Kryptonian hairpiece.
They couldn't exist under a red sun.
Yeah. and it's clearly, the vinyl pieces are red, but, I saw that on the giant screen back when they used to have giant screens. And he was in an all-black costume. So, that sort of thing.
So where do you go? Do you make it look like the way the lighting in the movie made it look, or do you make it look like actual problem.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I love about this con is that, you know, we can have FaceTime with people that, you know, are so enthusiastic about the line and let them have their say about what they would like to see in the line. It's always one of the things I've loved about coming to Comic-Con, because having that one-on-one interaction with people really is super inspirational, you know. It reminds me why I'm in love with whole business that much as well. So I love having those discussions.
Well, I want to make sure we have a few minutes for questions too for the panel. Let's, if we can, let's try and keep them, you know, industry related and that sort of thing, and not why haven't you made so and so.
Yeah.
If possible. So we don't have a microphone set up, but if you could just stand up and shout it out.
Oh yeah, what's up, guys? Now, I first want to say that. Yeah. Oh, thanks, man. I want to. These guys are awesome too, though. But no, I want to say that I do love like so many toy companies, Hasbro, Mattel. You know, all Mesco, everyone has done such a great job, and I understand where you guys are coming from. I'm a toy enthusiastic. And you guys have done so much stuff that's made me happy over here. So I just wanted to say that positivity. They know that people are positive still out there. So, but my real question is, you know, what is probably the most thing cost-wise that, you know, when you're battling Toys R Us trying to raise prices or retailers that fans complain about that might, you gotta keep down costs. So what is the first thing you have to look for to keep down costs? Is it paint, accessories? What do you guys think?
It's a little of everything. One good example is capes. Fans are always asking for like thinner capes than let's say Batman's.
Yeah.
Really expensive. We did one on Mantis because of the way his articulation worked.
Yeah.
We needed something very thin in order because it attached to the wrists and the ankles. But we want, you know, that made the figures skyrocket in price. So that's, you know, good, you know, where do you go? You know, we know the fans might want this, but at $14.99, what can you offer them? You know, and keep, you know, the same thing with articulation with Echo, keeping that figure at what we call an X factor, which is the cost it is for us to make it. In order for the retailer to charge $14.99, cotton costs are skyrocketing. I mean, you know, China's middle class is rising, minimum wages are going up. Factories, I mean, you know, the same factory that makes an action figure can also churn out Tupperware or baby bottles that have no articulation and almost no paint-ups. And it's much more cost-effective for them to make baby bottles than try to make Batmans. So, you know, that's one of Batman baby bottles might be the key linking there. I'm going to get on that. Paint issues, anything like that.
A lot of times it comes down to design, you know, like you'll lay something out and you can get a good idea about what it's going to cost. And you'll cost stuff out. I mean, I can't tell how many times we've had to cut things out of, you know, making something just because we ran over cost. But so it can come all the way back to design sometimes.
And you got to rely on the tool that you have, you know, use that, and you know, that's it. It's a whole other science in itself, you know. And usually when we try to explain this to guys, they might fall asleep, might find this. It's a pretty long process, you know, but there's a lot of factors that come into trying to keep costs down.
And a lot of that stuff actually, like, it's just pennies or fractions of a penny. So if you look at it, you go, well, that's nothing. But if you're making, you know, 10,000, 50,000 of them, that really starts to add up. And that, you know, that's when you start losing paint ups and points of articulation and things like that.
We're going through this with Back to the Future right now.
Yeah.
We really want to make toys based on Back to the Future.
Yeah.
And it's hard because Marty and Doc are 100% sculpt. There's unlike back, you know, Ghostbusters.
Right.
You can do one body and do each head.
Yeah.
You know, or you know, Batman, same thing. Same body as all the guys, but it's tough. I really want to make Doc and Marty figures, but for the numbers we know we could do.
Yeah. So then you're gonna have to end up making like Doc Brown and then a separate Doc Brown with the hat, you know, just to recoup your tooling. Yeah.
This is turning to the Venture Brothers commercial, but like it's the same thing with the Venture Brothers, the 3 3/4. Like to do what we're doing with the retro figures, and the reason we chose to do what we did with Venture Brothers is on several levels. I wanted to do retro because it fit for the show, it made sense. Luckily, the guys wanted to do retro. That was their they were thinking the exact same thing. And it also got to be like a constant. Like there are, you know, a lot of Venture Brothers fans out there, and they're very passionate. But how many are there out there? And there have been no toys for 7 years. And so like when it finally came along, yeah, there was bitching about it, but it was like they showed up and they made it a success and they made it happen. But you can get away with doing a retro figure like this with a far, a smaller minimum order than doing what we're going to try to do with these 3 3/4 inch figures. All these guys can tell you because that's a world they live in, obviously more than I do. So the question then becomes, what's that minimum going to be, and how many venture those fans are there out there? If that's X or whatever minimum, and you want to make it a decent price at retail, just how many fans are going to support it? So.
Definitely. Well, thank you guys for answering, and thanks for making awesome toys. I can keep buying them, man. Thanks.
Yes.
Charmus Pro.
Yeah, I've noticed, actually most recently, especially with Hasbro, you guys have made changes to your packaging and as far as using more cardboard for Marvel Legends especially have changed from, they're completely different from Toy Biz, but one thing I noticed is just twisted ties don't exist. There's these cardboard biodegradable, and I'm curious if there's an actual concern.
It is. I mean, there's environmental concerns and cost concerns.
So is there actually any research done into finding material that could replace plastic that would still be durable enough, where you could throw it on the floor and step on it and it won't break, but not make you feel guilty about giving money to Saudi Arabians for the oil that's needed to make the plastic?
Are you talking about plastic for the figures or the packaging for the card bundles? For both?
Figures?
More so for the figures, because
You don't want us to make figures out of plastic?
No, I don't.
We're calling it flubber. If it works.
But I know it's like one of those.
kid figure that comes out.
No plastic, but you could.
I mean, it's funny like you say that because most guys say, well, he changed plastic, and like an action figure has a different, like you have ABS. See, there's a lot of processes that go into making the toy, and there's certain things that you can't do using this different materials in an action figure, and injection molding process and everything. So, it's for the average person, you may say, well, he changed the plastic, but there's a lot that actually goes into actually making that plastic durable enough and strong enough to make it functional.
Yeah,
and safe too.
Yeah, I understand there's different grades of it and everything like that, but as far as plastic as a whole, it's outside of you guys probably, but as far as, are you aware of there being any
Is there any research done? No, I don't think there is. I mean, I'll be honest with you, man. If you would everyone in this room would know about it, there's some product that was as durable as plastic, but cheaper to make, the whole world would be using it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I understand where you're coming from, because I've struggled with that too. What, can't we make these things out of corn or soy? But, I'm sure that there are researchers doing that somewhere, but none of them work for any of these companies. Those guys didn't get the big bucks. They're finding
We have to wait for Scotty to come back from the future.
A little bit.
So just wait.
We all do as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't forget the hoverboards in 5 years or 4 years.
We have time for one more question. Yes, ma'am.
I'm just curious, it's probably different space and size for companies, but how much of your sales are online versus retail? Because I was at the designer vinyl panel earlier, and they said they're 99.9% online sales. And so I'm just curious for each of you, retail versus online.
That's a good question.
Mine will be the quickest answer because we just sort of gotten it. I think we're more like brick and mortar, mom and pop kind of places. Toys R Us is carrying Venture Brothers stuff, Twilight stuff. It's huge for us. That's a big deal. And to go with something on that level of property is very, very cool to that. But most of ours is online, retailers and entertainment and stuff like that.
For Mattel as a whole, 99.9% is at retail. But when you're dealing with a collector lines, that's Matty Collector, it's probably about 50-50.
retail.
Chuck, you're kind of split between specialty shops and like Toys R Us and stuff.
Yeah, well, if you mean retail, like brick and mortar and online retailers, or our online store. Our online store is like 0, right? Something like that.
I think that's.
Yeah, Zach thinks it's actually a 0.
Oh, we have plenty of online retail.
Right, but we have online retailers, like if you mean like Instant and Earth and Big Bad and
I
AFX.
wouldn't like
those
the store you
guys.
didn't go to.
Yeah, I think it's comic stores and Toys R Us, it's probably like, now back maybe 5-6 years ago when all those internet retailers were doing bang out business, it was a much bigger chunk, but a lot of those guys have gone away. You know, they're not moving on like toys, those catalog guys, they're just not around anymore. So we're probably 70-30 on a collector line, and on like a mid-mid line, we're like brick and mortar, you know, but our online store is like 0. You know, we push through B&M.
I think the quickest answer, I know you thought yours was, but I think it's Mike's, is 100% on that. All right, that's all the time we have. Just real quick before everyone takes off, I actually submitted 2 panels to do this year, and Comic-Con didn't take me up on one. One of them was going to be a tribute to Eddie Wires. Eddie Wires is a prototype painter. And he's a good friend of, everyone up here, at least knew him, and he was a huge presence at Comic-Con. He passed away just a few days after Comic-Con last year at the preposterous age of 38, and, we all miss him like crazy, and just kind of want to dedicate this to Eddie.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thank you guys very much for this. This is, it's every year I write a ton of questions and ask for the first 2 and then just run with what you guys do, which is just great. Thank you everyone for coming. Keep buying the toys. Don't post rants about them online. Have constructive criticism. And have a great rest of your con. Thank you very much for coming. Thanks.